It is amazing how money forces people to live lives they hate and make decisions that go against their own self-interest. People are trapped at low-paying jobs they hate because they can't afford to miss a single paycheck. People don't take risks in life because they're held down by their debt. And people stay in abusive relationships because they're financially dependent on their partner. Money has this strong power to trap people and make them think that it's impossible to move on to a better situation, that where they are is where they'll always be, and there is no hope in getting in a better situation. However, I believe that if you set your mind to something, anything is possible. And so in this video, I want to share 7 money management tips for anybody feeling financially trapped in life. And I hope these tips will inspire you to not feel hopeless, but to make changes in your life. So let's begin. 1. Deprive yourself until you have some stability. Now, the hard truth for people who feel trapped and want to move on to a better financial situation is that the only way you're going to do it is if you spend 1 to 2 years depriving yourself of most of the things that you enjoy. For 1 to 2 years. If you stop eating out, don't go on vacations, and downsize your life, you can use that money you saved to get in a better financial situation. And this shouldn't be viewed as a bad thing because the way I see it is that most people really just have 2 options. The first is to spend a year or 2 depriving yourself to get in a better financial situation, and then live the rest of your life to the fullest without financial burdens. The second is to do the same things you normally do and live a mediocre life trapped with financial burdens. And if you feel financially trapped in life, those are really your 2 options. A tough 1 to 2 years of deprivation, or a mediocre 40 years where money always holds you back. It is your choice, and I think that spending 1 or 2 years depriving yourself to get in a better financial situation is a small price to pay because no monetary thing in this world is worth a lifetime of that hopelessness feeling of being trapped. And I am 100% certain that once you finish, your future self will say that it was worth it. 2. Hustle hard until you have some stability. If you feel financially trapped and want to get in a better situation, another unfortunate truth is that for 1 or 2 years, you're also going to have to hustle and work hard so you can use that extra money to get in a better situation. And although hustling isn't always an enjoyable thing, just like depriving yourself, if you spend 1 to 2 years of hustling to get financial stability, you can live the rest of your life to the fullest without financial burden. Or you can just live a mediocre 40 years trapped, still having to work hard without any progress. When you think about it this way, it's really a no-brainer because in the short term, it'll be tough because you're working hard and hustling. But in the long term, your life will be better because you'll have more financial stability. And just like I said before, if you spend 1 to 2 years hustling to get in a better financial situation, your future self will say it was worth it because no monetary thing is worth that hopelessness feeling of being trapped. 3. Know that these extreme changes are just temporary. Now, it's important to know that if you decide to make these extreme changes in your life, like going without simple pleasures, or skipping vacation, or working your ass off, that these are just temporary changes. Most people get deterred from making these beneficial changes because they think it's a life sentence, and that 30 years down the road, they will still not be able to enjoy the pleasures they once enjoyed. However, it's important to know that the idea of doing these extreme actions is that it speeds up the process to get you in a better situation quicker, and eventually you can go back to enjoying these things without the financial burdens attached to them. They're just temporary actions that speed up the process. Dave Ramsey has a quote that goes, "If you will live like no one else, later you can live like no one else." If you make these extreme changes to get in a better financial situation, once you're in a better situation, you can enjoy these things more without the financial strings attached to them. So don't be drawn away by making these extreme changes because all they are is temporary. 4. Sit down and make a plan. So many people who are in a bad financial situation think that their situation is so bad that creating a budget, tracking all their expenses, and planning how to pay off debt are a complete waste of time. However, these people who think they're hopeless are the same people who would benefit the most by creating a financial plan, because when you create a financial plan, you can create goals, figure out how to accomplish those goals, and get in a better situation. And if you don't create a plan, you'll remain trapped and live this stagnated life where 10 years from now, your life will look the exact same as it is today. However, if you create a plan, be persistent, and follow through with that plan, 10 years from now, you'll be in a much better situation than you are today. And I am 100% certain that your future self will say it is worth it. So don't use your bad situation as an excuse to not create a plan, because a plan is the only way you're going to get out of a bad situation. 5. If your plan isn't working, examine your plan. Albert Einstein said, "The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results." When it comes to creating a financial plan, many people will create plans but not see any positive results from it. But then they just continue on with the plan thinking that eventually they'll see some results. However, if your plan isn't producing any positive results, you need to sit down and figure out why that is. And I recently made a video on budgeting and tracking your expenses. And if you're failing to get positive results, this video will help you figure out why and how to fix it. Oftentimes people stay financially trapped because they stick with a plan that isn't working and then just start to believe that the world is against them. But money is just basic math. And if you sit down and examine the numbers of your plan and figure out why the plan isn't working, you can move on to have positive results. 6. Only focus on the things you can control. I think that when it comes to money, people default to playing the victim card and focus on the things they can't control, like inflation or Wall Street or the current president, and put their problems on those things. However, constantly focusing on these things is a complete waste of time, because all these things are completely out of your control. When it comes to managing money and getting in a better financial situation, you should only focus on the things you can control, like how much money you're making and how much money you're spending and how you can get in a better situation. Because those are the things that you can actually control. And these other crazy things going on in the world are always going to happen, because as Billy Joel said, "We didn't start the fire. It was always burning since the world's been turning." And if you focus on all these things that you can't control, you're going to trap yourself as a victim. But if you focus on the things you can control, and we do have a lot of control over things, then you can get yourself in a better situation. 7. Hope dies last. My all-time favorite show on Netflix that I watch over and over again is Inside the World's Toughest Prisons. And what makes the show so good is the host, Raphael Rowe, who served 12 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. Imagine that, 12 years of your life gone for a crime you didn't commit. But one of the big things that he talks about, and one of the reoccurring themes of the show, is the importance of hope. And how no human being should ever live their lives without hope. And hope is that feeling deep down inside that no matter how impossible it seems to overcome a situation, that you can get yourself in a better situation, that there is light at the end of the tunnel. And if you're watching this video feeling financially trapped, whether that's through a low-paying job or burdened by debt, or you're in an abusive relationship, it's important to constantly remind yourself that no matter how much your circumstances are killing you inside, that hope dies last. There is a better future for you. When that comes, I do not know. But what I do know is that as long as you keep that small flame inside that is hope alive, you will eventually get there. So don't give up, keep moving, and as Michael Jackson once said, make that change.